right, so we're going to look at doing a two-point drawing in an interior setting. We studied doing two-point drawing in exterior where the building popped out, but we're going to look at it as it pops in. So it has a little bit of a different makeup. A two-point drawing that goes exterior has this where you have the line of your corner of your building. You have a point on one side, a point on the other, and then the lines kind of come out to the point like that. Okay, so they pop out at you, and that's what we did last week. But we're going to like reverse it. It's a little bit funky, but you'll catch on. You have the point on one side and the point on the other, just like you did before, except that you line up your point and you draw on the opposite side. Okay, do it again. Line it up and draw on the opposite side. Same here. I think you can see how this all of a sudden starts looking like the corner of a room. Can you see how that looks like? You could start having a carpet here, and there's a window. Okay. So that's the interior. This is exterior. So it has just a bit of a crisscross effect. Okay, now in class, we completed this much of an interior room. So this video is just to catch you up to that point so that we make sure everyone's on the same page because we had a few people absent. So let's begin. This is the room, the photo that we chose, or I chose. And this photo is linked on the website, so you can actually print it if you want. And let's begin. So for this, actually I should get my camera up a little higher. Boy, I can't go sideways or else the video will mount sideways. it won't go well, so I'll have to keep sliding back and forth. I in class wanted our ruler to be completely in the middle. So we'll do this. We'll put a point on one side and a point on the other. Make sure it's kind of flat, not slanted. And then we're going to put, actually what we did in class was we made a very light guideline. This is just so that we kind of have a bearing. Again, it's very, very faint. Okay, then the next thing we're going to do is put a line in the center. This is going to be the corner. And we did it about 2 inches above that midline and about 1.5 inches below-ish, okay? And that midline is right about there. Okay. Again, feel free to stop the video to just kind of catch up. We're going to use the point over here and line it up with the top of the line over here. We're not going to draw to this thing and stop. We're going to actually, got to keep it lined up as I go. We're going to pick up where we left off and go to the side of the paper. Now I'm going to use my pencil as a kind of like a slider. Keep my line and everything lined up, go to the edge of the paper, make sure that it looks straight, and then finish it off on the edge of the paper. Your ruler is probably not long enough to reach the whole thing. Okay, do the same thing on the other side. Line it to the point, line it to the top of the corner of the room. I'm going to get as much ruler out of this as I can, and draw on the opposite side. Again, slide it if you have to, and finish off. These are not going to line up to the corner, okay? They're just going to end where they end. Just let it run off the page. Okay, other side. Go to the point, and then draw on the opposite side of the paper. Go to the point, line it to the bottom of the corner, match it up, and draw over here. Slide it out. Okay, so there's the interior of our room. Now what we're going to do is work on these panel windows, okay? And we're going to draw, they'll be about like that. We're going to draw these arches, okay? Well, notice things that are further in the background are smaller, and as they become closer and closer to the viewer, they become larger. Also, objects become closer and closer together. So the panel between these two windows is going to be smaller here than it is over here, and it would increase in size as it becomes closer to the viewer. So items become closer and closer and closer together as they go back into the background, and they get smaller and smaller and smaller as they go into the background. And we will use the point to guide us through that process. So I'm going to line it up again. I'm going to make about, it's about 1 centimeter or half an inch, just a barrier at the top. And this is a guideline. It's not dark because I might want to erase it later. And I'm going to do the same on the bottom because these windows are really low. See how you could just fall right out of it if this window was open? You just, so very, very low on the bottom. Line it up to the point. All the way to the edge. And then this corner is rather tight in here. So I'm going to draw my panel, but it's really only like, again, 1 centimeter at the most. What is it actually? A little under. Yeah, it's almost like, it's 6 millimeters. Okay, so I made it really, really small. Is that light too bright? I don't know. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to decide how big I want this panel window. It is not that wide here. So I'm going to actually make it about, why not 1.5 centimeters? Up and down. Okay. And I'm going to go to the next. So this is the space in between the windows. Now let's define this window so it's easier to see between what is a window and what is a panel. See how it's like wood paneling, window, wood paneling, window, wood paneling, window, okay? So I'm going to just make this window. Let's do the top. There's a top beam in, we're going to make this part, this dark part that goes all the way across. So again, I'm going to the left point over here to help me. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm bumping this thing. I'm over here. So if you wonder where my ruler, why I decided to go where I decided to go, I'm actually at the point. So I'm going to draw a light guideline off the edge of the page, and I'm going to drop down and make another light guideline. And again, this all goes directly to that point. I didn't make it up. We will make it up later, I'll show you that, but right now we're not making it up. Then in order to make that arch, I'm going to find out where about half. I think a half is about right here, and make a little mark. And then all you do is, and feel free to turn your paper, you don't have to be rigid straight up and down. You want your hand naturally curves right about here. It's very natural. It's not natural to curve in this direction. So go ahead and turn your paper to where it feels good that you can make a nice arc with your pencil. So I'm playing dot to dot. I'm connecting this point and making it curve around, and I'm making very light sketchy lines till I figure where I like the arc to be. I'm actually going to go upside down and make the arc going there. And now I like my arc, okay? And there's my first window. Let's move on. So if the paneling, of course the paneling is really, really small here. I think I'm going to make the paneling a little bit bigger than the window was, because my window, remember I said I'd make it I guess it's a little under 1.5 centimeters. So I'm going to make this paneling, I'll make it 2, why not? We'll just round it out. Okay, so I'll go up and down, because 2-point perspective, all of the vertical lines are actually vertical. So there's my wooden paneling, and I'm ready to start my next window. My window again was about 1 centimeter and a smidge, so I'm going to make it, I don't know, let's go 2 and a smidge, okay? Honestly, I am, this style of just kind of winging it is more like what you would do when you're doing, say, like a travel journal, or you actually were in this room and you thought, this is beautiful, I'd love to draw this. You would just start eyeballing it, okay? You're not going to sit there and measure it. But if you were to do a very technical drawing, you would want to measure it. And there are ways to compare the diagonals and set them all right so they're exactly correct in their proportions. Again, this is more of a travel journal, draw what I see on the field. I'm not trying to make a technical CAD drawing or architectural drawing. I am just drawing what I see. And you would probably not even whip out a ruler in that case, but this is just to help make sure that you have some good training wheels for understanding what you're seeing when you get in those situations where you take a really great trip to a foreign country and you're like, wow, I really want to draw these buildings. You can at least sit there and go, oh, I see what's going on, and whip it out. So it's good to use your ruler when you're first learning all of this, okay? After a while, you don't, you can leave that out of there, especially when you're just trying to draw for remembering or making something artsy. Okay, so I know my paneling was it's a little under 2 centimeters. Well, I guess it's 2 centimeters here. I need to make it a little bigger. So I'm going to go 3. And my window, we said, was 2 and a smidge. I will make it more. I want him to look. I think I'll go 3 and a smidge. Find half on there. Arc it. And I like the look of that. Okay, now I'm going to do the cross beam through here. Again, I'm going to go to my left point. And they look in the picture like they really are kind of half. So I'll just go along this half point. And I'm only going to do it on the windows because that's where the line in the picture looks like it goes. Okay, so there I go. There's my windows. Now I'm going to go over to this side and we're going to construct the beginnings of these tables. These tables are sitting kind of as if they're one big shoebox. I don't know if you can see that, but they're lined up because they are constructed. They're the same exact desk made by the same manufacturer. They're going to have the same footprint. So we're going to make a see-through kind of elongated brick. Okay, first let's figure out the footprint. Now, I talked about this in class. This point is far too close to this edge to make it reasonable. If we use the left point, it's gonna look really wackadoodle. So what we're gonna do is we're going to blend technically right and eyeballing it right, okay? So let's go technically right on we'll go to the right point to give ourselves a really good footprint. Remember how we did the corner to the right over here? We're going to go ahead and get the footprint, how wide we think this desk area is. So I'm going to go ahead and say I think my desk is about, I don't know, like about that far away from the wall. And then I'm going to decide, I went to the left on this point and it worked out okay. If I go here, it's going to be very distorted because the point is so close. The point would be better if it were way out here. So I'm going to go ahead, just make sure that it doesn't look completely out of line. So it's kind of, I'm going to kind of echo this line in a way and then draw there. So they're kind of parallel. They don't look completely skewed, okay? And this is definitely winging it. Okay, I'm going to go straight up to how tall I think it looks. I drew, by the way, I don't know if you're like, what was the measurement? I did about 3 centimeters here and then drew it to my point over on the right, drew it out, and then this one is about 5 centimeters. And then I'm drawing it upwards of about 5. Okay, and I'm going to basically keep these rather parallel, these lines right here together, okay? Again, I'm eyeballing it. This is not exact. If I were to do it exact, can you see how different that line would be? That line would be like right here. and the tabletop would be also, so my table would actually look like it's kind of collapsing because the point is way too fat, too close. It would just skew it. Okay, so now I'm going to draw this guideline for the top edge of the tables. What I'm drawing is right here. I'm drawing this line right here, okay? I am going to use my right because it's far away enough that it will look, I think it will look nice. And that will help me decide vertically here where the edge of my table lands up against that window. If I want to go against the window, if I want to go a little away from the window, I can pull it out. Let me look at the picture a second. It looks like they're away from the window. Okay, so let's do that. Whoa, okay. So I will take that line back out. We'll use this one. Actually, I'm going to not share the same line with the window. I'm going to let my chair sit in here. Now a lot of this is going to get covered up by that table that sits in the middle. But I'm going to go ahead and draw it in because I want to understand what's going on. Okay. Okay, so I've got the edge, the outer edge, and boy, I'm gonna use the far right point for the back top of my table, and now I can start just connecting them up. Feel free to kind of work it just so it looks like it fits the room, okay? So that's what we finished in class. All right, we'll go to the next video.